The end of the 19th century was a time of great technological and scientific advances, along with major social and geopolitical upheaval. As the new barrier came up across Europe in the form of a Franco-German quest for dominance. The barrier of fundamental misunderstanding of human organism and disease was coming down as a result of rivalry between two of the greatest minds of their age, Robert Koch and Louis Pasteur. Out of the carnage of the Franco-Prussian War came some of the greatest advances in microbiology and medicine that have reshaped the way that we live and treat diseases to this day. This rivalry was derived from a war that ended in a decisive victory for Prussia and a humiliating defeat for France. The rivalry between the two scientists, who'd been known as some of the greatest minds in their field, was the catalyst in the reformation of the medical world to what it is today. A rivalry driven by the nationalistic ambition of the two countries to assert dominance in scientific advancements. Leading the French was Louis Pasteur, while leading the Germans was Robert Koch. The products of the rivalry were a series of inventions and discoveries that changed the world beyond recognition, clearing a path for further advancements in science and saving countless lives in the process. A rivalry that broke the barriers of fundamental human knowledge and understanding of medicine. How did this magnificent rivalry arise in the first place? Well, let's rewind back to the 1870s.
Having just defeated Austria in the 7 Weeks' War, Prussia, led by as brilliant as he was ruthless, Chancellor Otto von Bismarck, was looking to unite all German-speaking people of Europe and create a German empire that would dominate the European continent. Only one thing stood in his path: France's continued influence over the affairs of the continent and opposition to anyone looking to challenge that role. The conflict was as inevitable as its outcome sent a shockwave through the continent. France, whom everyone saw as a sure victor in this conflict, was soundly crushed by Prussia's superior strategic planning, command and control, and technical superiority. As a result, a unified German empire was born and became the new superpower of its day, while France's hegemony in continental Europe ceased and was left reeling in shame of defeat and a desire for revenge to restore its national pride.
You ought to carry me back, yeah, to home.
Meanwhile, diseases and epidemics of the 19th century reached an apex in the form of one emerging infectious disease, cholera. Other prevalent diseases at the time included smallpox, typhus, and yellow fever. Common diseases that are curable today, or have entirely since been eradicated, had devastating effects on populations since medical professionals had difficulty identifying the cause of these diseases, let alone finding a cure. For example, the third cholera pandemic, which lasted from 1852 to 1860, was the deadliest of the 7 cholera pandemics, racking up a death toll of over 1 million deaths before it was identified that the disease was transmitted through contaminated water. Something had to be done, and fast.
Two of the leading minds working on medical and bioresearch at the time were Robert Koch of Germany and Louis Pasteur of France. Louis Pasteur was a French chemist and microbiologist who was one of the most important founders of medical microbiology. He is renowned for his remarkable breakthroughs in the cause and preventions of diseases, and his discoveries have saved many lives ever since. He had numerous academic positions, and his scientific accomplishment earned him France's highest decoration, the Legion of Honor, as well as election to the Academy of Sciences and many other distinctions. Interestingly enough, he began his career as a professor at the University of Strasbourg, located in the French province of Alsace-Lorraine, the same province that Germany annexed following the Franco-Prussian War. As such, Louis Pasteur was bound to take his scientific rivalry with Koch very personally. On the other hand, Heinrich Hermann Robert Koch was a German physician and one of the founders of bacteriology. He discovered the anthrax disease cycle and the bacteria responsible for tuberculosis and cholera. He created and improved laboratory technologies and techniques in the field of microbiology and made important discoveries in public health. His research led to the creation of Koch's postulates, 4 criteria designed to establish a causative relation between a microbe and a disease. To this day, it remains the gold standard in medical microbiology. For his research on tuberculosis, Koch would go on to receive the Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine in 1905.
As their competition intensified, Koch and Pasteur tried to surpass each other, in the process making their rivalry a fairly public affair, and thus attracting the attention and resources to their field of research, which, given the life-saving nature of it, was all the more important. As scientific rivals, they were bound to closely follow one another's work, re-examine and verify each other's results, and build upon each other's discoveries, therefore making advances in the field of microbiology and medicine that much more rapid and accurate. Through their competition, that field of science made an unprecedented leap forward, as each of these two great men were two locomotives, each pulling in their own direction, but ultimately pulling the whole train of scientific advancement forward with twice the speed. Although Koch did receive a higher degree of international recognition in his day, and ultimately the Nobel Prize, and although it was Germany that was riding high at the age, it was France and Pasteur who ultimately had the last word. After World War I, France returned Alsace-Lorraine, and to this day we're remembering Louis Pasteur every time we drink a glass of milk. On the milk carton it says, pasteurized.
Over the barrier that was erected between two great nations of Germany and France, Robert Koch and Louis Pasteur broke the barrier of ignorance over causes and treatments of most destructive epidemic diseases, saving millions of lives as a result. And in modern Europe, where Germany and France are united in the European Union, as well as all over the world, both great scientists are greatly revered for their achievements. As a testament to that, the Robert Koch Institute in Berlin and the Pasteur Institute Foundation worldwide continue their work of advancing the field of microbiology, disease study, and prevention, no longer as rivals, but as colleagues.